Hello and welcome back to another glass of wine. Today we are joined by Natasha. Natasha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
It's lovely to have you. You have grown up here at Waterford.
Yes.
You've worked yourself all the way up into an amazing position. Please tell us a little bit about your story, your journey in the wine industry.
Sure. So I started straight after school in 2009. I actually started working here as a back of house, helping to keep the place neat and tidy and clean. For 2 years I did that. And then the 2 years after that, I was put onto the floor doing tastings as a tasting room ambassador. And 2 years after that, I was promoted to floor manager.
Oh, wow. That's such a cool journey. It also happened so quickly.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I know that a portion of your responsibilities, you're in charge of look and feel. So
yes.
Being a runner, looking after the whole place, taking care of the back of house definitely helps with that responsibility.
Yeah, and I think that's where I also got the passion and the eye for it, because that was once my job, making sure that everything's in place, flowers are fresh, and the place looks up to standard. So I think that's definitely where it started for me.
That's incredibly important. You're doing an amazing job. The tasting room always looks stunning. I know people walk in here from all over the globe and they're always just jaws on the floor.
Yes.
Like, wow, this place is amazing. So you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and working through the wine, up the ladder here in the tasting room, that's how you acquired your wine knowledge.
Yes.
Correct?
When I started here, I knew nothing about wine, like zero. Right? And I gained all of my knowledge here. And it's only recently that I actually did a bit of a course in winemaking. But other than that, I learned everything through the people here, the winemakers, the viticulturists, my managers. And it's just wine, I think, to me is such an amazing thing. Like, you can never stop learning. I learned this from someone in the industry, that every day you will learn something new. I'm sure it's like that in other jobs, but I think for me, wine specifically, it's endless. Like, you will never stop learning. And I think that's why I've been here for so long.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Tell us, you touched on the course that you've just done. What have you just completed?
I did my WSET level 2. So
incredible.
It's basically wine and spirits education, and it is internationally recognized, which is why I opted to go for that one. And I passed it with 82% of the merit. So I was so stoked. I thought I was going to get 50%, but
hey, back yourself. I mean, you know your stuff. I know that I learned a hell of a lot from you when I was training. I mean, you really are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to wine, the world of wine.
Yeah,
that is incredible. No, of course, man, of course. So, I mean, we're sitting here with the elephant in the room, these beautiful glasses of wine sitting in front of us
pink
here.
Elephant.
Hey, pink elephant. I mean, if this doesn't just shout a good time, I don't know what doesn't.
Absolutely.
Our Rosemary, our Rosé 2022 vintage. Hey?
Yes, this is a beautiful wine, eh?
Beautiful bottle of wine.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
I was actually about to ask. I heard it's one of your favorites.
Thank God you chose this one.
I'm sorry. Hey, I know my audience. I know who we're interviewing. So tell us a little bit about the wine. It's made in the Blanc de Noir style. What's Blanc de Noir?
Okay, so we're tasting the Rosemary 2022. Blanc de Noir style basically means that we've taken red grapes and we've made a white wine with it, right? So there's very little skin contact during fermentation, and you harvest these grapes so early. You want to have minimum color in the grape, so that the wine that you then end up making is also this beautiful blush color, very, very light salmon type color. So that's basically what Blanc de Noir means. It's that you've taken red grapes, it's white from red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Blanc de Noir French. I mean,
it is a French style of winemaking, and they actually use that a lot with their champagnes. I wonder if I can actually even say champagne in South Africa, but that's also how they would make, say, something like a Pinot Noir. They use Pinot Noir grapes and they make a completely clear or rosé looking champagne, and it's their style of.
So interesting.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so it doesn't only stick to still wine. People actually use Blanc de Noir in bubblies and things like that.
Yes, you can use it for bubbly as well as still wine, which is a pretty cool thing.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's have a sip. Tell us, Natasha, I know people have drunk this wine. This is a big seller for us. But what are we experiencing in the 2022? What are we smelling? What are we tasting?
So this is a beautiful fresh wine, and like the immediate aromas that pop out at me are like almost strawberries, but a little bit unripe strawberries, and then I get bitter cherries, like this beautiful cherry aroma. And we were doing a bit of training earlier, and we tasted this one, and something like apricot also came to me. So apricot also.
Okay, really fruit forward. Really, really fruit forward.
Yeah.
Okay, and palate-wise, I'm getting a lot of acidity.
Yes, and that comes from the fact that these grapes are harvested a little bit earlier. When you're making this style, which is Blanc de Noir, it's generally and mostly it is a dry style wine. And you harvest these grapes earlier to maintain high acidity and low sugar. That's the style that we're going for with our Blanc de Noir or our rosemary. Beautiful fresh acidity there, soft, subtle hints again of those strawberries coming through on the palate, and then a beautiful, beautiful dry finish.
Okay, so picking a little bit earlier, our sugars are lower. Does that mean we've got less alcohol in the wine?
Absolutely, and that's the main goal with this. I think it's very difficult in South Africa with our high temperatures to create a wine like this that's so low in alcohol. But that's how we achieve it, by harvesting the grapes earlier. If you keep your sugars low, you are able to then maintain the low alcohol. And with this one being 10.5, oh my God, it's a winner. I basically drink it like water. Yeah.
10 and a half, I think you can do 1 or 2 bottles.
Absolutely. Don't tempt me.
Hey, that does sound like some good summer fun.
It is. It is a beautiful wine. It like when you look at it, you think summer and it's refreshing. You think picnic, That's the kind of wine that the rosemary is.
Oh, picnic.
Yeah.
You mentioned food. What would you pair with this wine?
I tell this to all of the guests whenever I present this wine. Salmon roses is
some
the
sushi.
Yes. So any sushi in general really pairs well with it, but specifically salmon roses. And then I think it's got a little bit of mayo in there that really just complements that fresh acidity. So that has got to be my favorite pairing, rosemary and salmon roses.
So if I packed you a picnic with a bottle of rosemary and just salmon roses,
yes, please, about
we could leave you
24
for the whole day. Hey, lying in the sun. Oh, can I join?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, and then back to the bottle. I want the name Rosemary.
Yes.
Where does that come from?
So the owners of the estate is Jeremy and Lee Ord, and this wine was named after Jeremy Ord's mom. So it was a tribute to her, but she also loved the color pink. She loved rosés, and the first thing that they thought of when they decided to create this rosé for Waterford was to name it after her. So that's quite a special story, and I think that's quite a beautiful story.
That is a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you own a wine farm, you have to name at least one of your wines after your mom.
Or 3.
Or 3. It's a bit rude if you don't have. I 100% agree with you there.
Yeah.
So I want to get a little bit technical with you here. Let's look at the winemaking process here. So
Okay.
we bring these grapes in early. We've harvested them a little bit earlier than what you should.
Yes.
And then what happens in the cellar?
So it's an incredible process. Yeah, the grapes are harvested, and we start our harvest very early in the morning. The rosemary grapes are also some of the grapes that are picked very early on in the season in order to maintain those low sugar levels and that beautiful acidity we were talking about. But so the grapes are harvested, they're brought into the cellar. For red wines and also certain white wines, you would go through a process of de-stemming or de-stalking. I think de-stalking is an old word that I still
old term,
learned.
yeah.
But de-stemming, and with the rosemary, it doesn't go through the de-stemming process.
Okay, so we're not taking the stems off.
We're not taking the stems off yet. So we put this into our membrane press. So, and I like to explain things in the simplest way possible, because oftentimes the guests don't understand these big words. But the membrane press is essentially, it's this big machine that has kind of like a balloon inside of it that very gently inflates, and this squeezes the juice out, right? So when you put your whole bunches in there, there's almost less of the contact of the skin. So if you had to take the berries off the stems, there would be a lot more contact. So when you leave it on, it creates this, and I don't know how to explain it, but it creates something that the berries fall through the stems rather than falling through each other and into each other. So that also helps us to have very little skin contact for those 2 or 3 hours that this process is happening. But it also helps keep the wine really fresh because that process happens so quickly.
Interesting. So having that extra matter in the press
Yes.
is so important in crafting this particular style.
Yeah, that's very important in making the style of Blanc de Noir.
Okay, very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. And then obviously, I mean, I'm tasting the freshness and the acidity. It's obviously stainless steel tank.
Yeah, no oak fermentation with this one or oak aging. It's only stainless steel fermentation.
Okay.
And that really just helps, to keep it fresh, keep those fresh flavors in the wine as well.
Yeah, very clean wine.
Yeah,
it tastes very
absolutely.
clean.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, you said that this is one of your favorite wines. I'm sure you've got a nice little story to tell us.
I don't know if they're appropriate for this.
Oh, give us a PG one.
I don't think there's one specific story that comes to mind. I think, over the last 10 years that I've been at the estate, and I'll have to mention this. So I started out drinking Sauvignon Blanc as a novice, as someone that didn't know anything about wine. And slowly but surely, as I started learning about wines, I think the rosemary took my attention a little bit more so than Sauvignon Blanc. So this is something that I drink occasionally when we have our drinks after work with the team, with the tasting room team, or even at home when there's an occasion. It's a no-brainer for me, like which wine I'm going to buy or open. I think it'll always be the rosemary and summer for sure. I wouldn't drink this as much in winter. It's a bit chilly then.
Yeah.
But this is my summer wine, and I don't think there's any specific story. I just don't think there's anything better than enjoying a beautiful glass of your favorite wine with your colleagues or with your friends and family at home.
Oh, I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I love how you touched on the team. Tell us about your team that work here in the tasting room.
Okay, so we've got a team of about 20 young, vibrant students that assist us in running the tasting room, ensuring that the guests that walk through the tasting room doors gets world-class experience. We've always been known for that. We are number one on TripAdvisor. We always have beautiful reviews everywhere that you would look, the internet and so on. So the team is really crucial in us providing that kind of service. And we're a close-knit team. Most of us have worked together for years, more than 1 or 2 years. So it really is like a family. We're always there for each other on the floor. Even when it gets crazy busy, there's always the next person to be able to help you out. And I think teamwork is one of the most important things for us here at Waterford Estate.
No, hugely so.
Yes.
And I know you've just come out of the busy season, the summer busyness, hey?
Yes.
Is it crazy?
I'm barely breathing after that day. But it was an incredibly busy season, but in the best way possible.
Oh, that's so good to hear.
Yeah, I think after COVID-19, 2019, for the last 3 years, it really was a ghost town. And coming back into what we know, seeing the amount of people that we do coming through these doors, it was exciting, a little bit scary at times when we couldn't stop people from coming in. But we took it on the chin and we came out a better team, a stronger team. We had some incredible sales, but we had a lot of people, but it was fun.
That's so cool. I'm so glad that you end off with that. It was fun. I mean, that is so cool.
Yes.
And what was the busiest day? How many people are we talking?
Sure. So I think that was in December. We had about 310, 320 people.
That is ridiculous.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
The courtyard looks big, but it's not that big. And when you have 300 people in here.
I can imagine.
You're running up and down, you're sweating, but all the steps you're getting in. We would easily do over 20,000 steps a day.
Ooh.
So health-wise, it's also very good.
I was about to say, you can cancel your gym membership.
Exactly, I did.
Okay, that's cool. And now funny stories, you have to have a funny story.
Funny stories.
Or something. Is there a guest that did something? We won't mention names. We won't embarrass anyone.
Not funny stories. Let me think. Yeah, I'm struggling. I thought about this earlier, and I think I overthought it, and it just went out of my mind. The idea completely left me now.
Well, I'm sure in the busyness, the craziness, it's kind of a bit of a blur, isn't it?
It is absolutely. Well, we do like swimming in the fountain after a very busy hot day.
Oh,
So
that sounds like
yeah,
a treat.
that is a
sounds
treat.
like
That's
treat.
the funniest thing I can think of right now.
I think that's such cool team bonding as well. Hey?
It is, it
After such a
is.
busy day, everyone coming together,
Yeah.
experiencing it together.
Yeah,
That is
absolutely.
so cool.
Yeah, so swimming in the fountain, that's it.
That's a good one. I love that. And now, your personal experience here at Waterford, you've been here, you said, for quite some time. I'm sure you've got a favorite spot on the farm. Let us in on a little secret. Where do you like to go to like clear your head and
Clear my head, yeah.
talk to Natasha?
There's a lot of beautiful spots on our farm, and I like taking walks when I don't finish here too late. I like taking walks on the farm. I would walk up to the Chardonnay Dam. It's just so absolutely peaceful there. We've got this beautiful deck area there that you can go and sit. You've got the dam on the one side, and you've got the mountain on the other side, and the vineyards in between. And so I think that to me is an incredible place for me to clear my head, or really just have some alone time, because you need some alone time.
I agree. I know exactly where you're talking about. It is stunning on the farm there. It is beautiful. It's almost like where land meets water,
Yes.
vines in between.
Absolutely.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
So Tash, you've grown up here on the estate. I know your family has worked here on the estate.
Yes.
How does it feel to now be not only a bigger part of the Waterford family, but to feel such a growth of your family within the Waterford kind of footprint in the wine industry?
Yes. So my parents actually moved here, and I love telling the story to my guests as well. I was 2 years old when my parents moved to this farm. It wasn't Waterford then, but I am 33 years old now. So can you believe that we've been here for 31 years already? And it's incredible to have seen the transformation of Waterford, and just the entirety of Waterford, the farm, the vineyards, all of that, how the farm has changed and grown and gotten better in the last 25 years. So, but Waterford is a very close part of me. As I mentioned earlier, started working here in 2009, and it's just a place that's so close to my heart. I cannot imagine myself working anywhere else. Also, I live about 5 minutes away from work. I don't have to
Ooh, what a
travel
treat.
anywhere. When people talk about petrol, I'm like, what? Does it
Petrol
affect me?
prices are going up.
I walk to work every single morning. It takes me about 5 minutes. So, I love Waterford. I don't think that I would change it for anything.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And I'm sure now you say that your family's been here before Waterford and now coming up through Waterford. I'm sure they've told you some stories of harvest and things like that, and being a part of the energy and the excitement.
Yes.
How does it feel now that you're a part of the energy and the excitement?
Yeah.
You get to put your stamp on it as well.
I remember as a child, my parents leaving the house very early, 5 o'clock, 5:30 even, and during the harvest time.
Ooh, that's
and
early.
It's very early, right? And we as kids also had to get up because you need to get ready for school.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the one thing that I remember, my parents leaving the house so early to go and pick these beautiful grapes. I don't think I ever realized why they would get up so early and go pick these grapes. And now looking at this glass in front of me, and with the experience that I have, now it's all coming into play. And about 2 years ago, I actually did that for the first time myself. I'm not a morning person, but I decided
You
that,
dragged yourself out of bed.
yeah, I've been here for so long, I should do a harvest. So I got up at 5 o'clock and I did that harvest myself. It's intense, but the competitiveness that you see out there in the vineyards among the staff, and just how proud and happy they are to be there, I think that opened my eyes, and it makes you appreciate wine so much more once you've seen it, like literally from the ground level, from where everything starts to your glass. It really makes you sit and think, this is a beautiful glass of wine, and all the hard work that went into it. So that sticks with me, and that's my little bit of experience that I have with the harvesting process.
With the harvesting, going and getting your hands dirty, it definitely
Yes.
makes you appreciate your bottle of wine
Yes.
so much more. Hey?
And I didn't cut myself. I was so
Ooh,
proud.
that's I know I often see people coming back from harvest with
Yes.
Band-Aids around the thumb
Bruises.
or something, bruises.
Yeah.
It really is intense work. So congratulations on getting up and going and doing it.
Thank
That's
you.
also
Thank
amazing.
you.
Natasha, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. You've been an absolute star. You do an incredible job here.
Thank you.
Keep it up. And we hope to see you soon.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
You're so welcome.